Today on Deb's Place.
It's about discovering who you are.
How prepared are you to share your faith in public?
Alison Shreve is underway.
How would you go crossing Bass Strait?
Family's #1 at that E65.
And are you prepared to share your faith on radio? Welcome to Deb's Place. I'm Debbie Gould. Today is all about how we share our faith in public.
Sharing my faith on radio is something that I do every day. I started in radio when I was studying at university, and now I've been in Christian radio and Christian media for almost 15 years. You share your faith every day through the radio station. So I think it's coming out in a very subtle way and reaching people that haven't yet heard the gospel. You live your life in your workplace and what you do. The listeners get to know you as a Christian, and what you say comes out all the time. We get so many wonderful messages and phone calls from people who just love the station. There are so many good parts of my job. People listening at home or in their car or in their workplace, we're able to reach in and touch their hearts and their lives every day.
Are you open with your faith? Do the people you spend time with know your beliefs and know what you're all about? These days we all have public lives, whether it's at work, at church, social groups or online. Everything, it seems, is becoming more transparent. Sharing your faith in public with people who don't understand what it's all about exposes you to ridicule, and it can also show your stronger side. The Bible makes it clear that Christians seem like fools to non-believers. From as early as John the Baptist and Stephen in the Bible, people who put their faith out in public were ridiculed and sometimes killed. Research shows that only 55% of Christians regularly share their faith in public over a 12-month period, and only 1/3 of Christians think it's important to maintain positive relationships with non-believers. For some of us, the public is our family and friends. For others, it's our city and state, and for others still, it's international. How do you share your faith in your circle of influence? Stay with us. 3-time world windsurfing champion Alison Shreve is next.
And it's just amazing how God's grace and compassion and power can work through us.
Christian radio chose me. It was something that had God's fingerprints all over it. To be honest, I really wouldn't want to work in any other radio industry.
If you had an international profile, corporate sponsors and major brands knocking at your door, would you tell them about your faith? Alison Shreve has achieved just about everything the sport of windsurfing has to offer. She's an international personality and has been profiled in magazines around the world. She's also a strong Christian woman who shares her faith in a very public way. Alison started windsurfing when she was 16. She turned professional in 2004 and was named the 2005, 06 and 07 Formula Windsurfing World Champion. She's a household name in many countries around the world and a committed Christian. As she continued to succeed, her public profile grew. She was in demand and has appeared on television and radio programs, and is also featured in windsurfing magazines around the world. Alison has let her sporting achievements showcase her character and determination, and she's not shy to share what she believes. Alison, thank you for joining us. You have achieved so much in the world of windsurfing. How hard has it been to share your faith literally to the whole world?
You know, Deb, it isn't really that hard. I have a website, so on there I have things that I've achieved, things that I'm going to achieve, but I like to tell people what I believe in. I think it's important. My faith has helped me through a lot of my life, and even to achieve, you know, my world titles and speed records or whatever I've done. I give the glory to God, because it's because of Him that I've been able to achieve these things. So for me it's quite easy.
Has there been any moments in time when you've wondered whether it's good to share your faith, whether that might change people's view of you and maybe jeopardise sponsorship in any way?
I have had a situation where I've had some potential sponsors approach me, and I've turned them down because they're their vision or what they're marketing or promoting doesn't really line up with what I believe in, and I don't want to be promoting products that don't necessarily line up with who I am.
So that's a very public place where you share your faith. What other things do you do to express who you are and who God is in your life?
When it comes to my life outside of my sport, I am involved with my local church, and we go out once a week and pray for people and just help in the general community, and it's just wonderful introducing people to Jesus. And I've prayed for some people and they've been healed on the spot, and it's just amazing how God's grace and compassion and power can work through us. And I just really love that part of my life, to be able to give to other people. I'm also involved with public speaking at events, which is a wonderful way to give back to the world. And so for me, I'm just so blessed to be able to share my faith outside of my sport as well. And, you know, God's just done so much for me, so I want to encourage other people.
Thank you, Alison, ever so much for sharing with us. Visit our website to see Alison's impressive achievements. Here's a clip that you can see online. It's Alison's attempt to windsurf from Tasmania to Victoria across Bass Strait.
Alison Shreve is underway in her effort to windsurf across Bass Strait. She's just left the shores in Stanley. Overcast skies there, but she's absolutely flying. Let's go home. Amazing.
Putting your faith out in public can be a difficult thing to do. We're not all called to be celebrities or superstars, but as Christians we are called to be ambassadors for God. When the people around us know we have a faith but don't understand what it's all about, it can expose us to a world of unrealistic expectations. It's then up to us to show that our faith doesn't mean we are perfect, but rather we are strong because we recognise our imperfections. Christians are expected to number over 3 billion people around the world in the next 15 years. Most of this growth will take place where Christianity is now not allowed to be shared in public. In many of these countries, Christianity is currently a hidden faith. Christians simply cannot share what they believe without the fear of persecution. Where the Christian faith is allowed, it's a different story. Some of us choose to share our faith with family and friends. Some of us choose to share in public using billboards, signs, television commercials, radio stations and print. When and how you share your faith contributes to the public perception of what Christianity is all about.
You're listening to 89.9 Line FM. It is 5...
Over any 12-month period, 74% of Christians choose to show their beliefs through their lifestyles, believing that sharing their faith in public is itself an act of evangelism. Do you agree? Is sharing our faith always evangelism?
She said, I tuned into your station 2 weeks ago and I can see where the meaning of life comes from.
Coming up, one of Australia's most forward-thinking Christian radio stations.
Family's #1 at 96.5.
And how do you share your faith in public?
The media can't tell you what to think, but it can tell you what to think about.
Is sharing your faith in public always evangelism? Let us know what you think at debsplace.tv.
Hey Jesus, thanks for everything. Like, thanks for sunshine. But what about sunburn? How come the more you have, the more you want? We've got more friends, but less friendship. More convenience, less patience. More hope, but more uncertainty. A healthy body still isn't good enough. And how come the best things always have to end?
A campaign that put the name of Jesus out onto the public sphere to help people share their faith with family and friends was held in Australia in 2009. It was called Jesus All About Life. Joining me is the campaign manager, Rachel Hockings. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you.
What is Jesus All About Life?
Jesus All About Life is a campaign that's aimed at raising awareness of the person of Jesus, using the media as a catalyst and the church as the delivery point for the gospel message.
And so what is the purpose of it?
The purpose of it is to create a conversation in the public with your friends, your family, workplace.
And so for Christians, what opportunities were they given to share their faith?
Well, basically what we did was we created an environment where there was so much noise that people would be asking them, you know, if they were a Christian, can you tell me more about this campaign? So it was people who were maybe quiet Christians to feel bold enough to share their faith throughout the campaign.
Okay, so for this campaign and for any other evangelistic campaign, how important is it for individual Christians to share their faith out in the public arena?
Well, we believe it's one of the most important things is to be bold in sharing your faith, believing that Jesus is in us and we're the people that are the conduit that spread the message of Jesus, so it's really important.
And so if somebody was feeling that maybe God is calling them to say something to a friend, to say something about their faith, what would you say to them?
I would say be confident in that, follow what God's telling you, and that's really important to share your faith. You might not see results straight away, but by planting a seed, you know, it's really exciting what Jesus can do, and we saw a lot of great testimonies come from this campaign, and we believe that many more will come from it.
That is absolutely fantastic. Thank you ever so much for joining us.
Visit debsplace.tv for more information about the Jesus All About Life campaign. Also, is sharing your faith in public always evangelism? At debsplace.tv.
Joining us online is Brisbane journalist for the Courier Mail newspaper and one of the pastors of her local church, Ruth Limpkin. Ruth, thank you for joining us. What is your involvement in media?
I do social commentary, so I'll do either articles for the Courier Mail. I also look at ethical issues. I had the great privilege of being awarded the Margaret Dooley Award last year for writing on social justice and human rights issues.
And so what do you write about exactly?
Anything from poverty right through to legislation that's coming out that could impact on the family or impact on the fabric of society.
And do you get the opportunity to share your faith in these articles?
I actually like to think of it as representing my faith. I think when people come to church, they're happy to hear people sort of share the faith, but if they're going to a newspaper, what I really want to do is represent my faith well, and I want to make sure that I'm illuminating principles that are timeless but in a way that people can understand. I also like to think that they're intellectually stimulating and can give people a way of understanding the principles that I'm talking about.
So that would make you a very versatile writer. Is there any particular perspective or angle that you like to weave into any of your articles?
I guess I like to look at what's going on in the media at the moment. I once heard someone say that the media can't tell you what to think, but it can tell you what to think about. So I like to look at the storylines and the angles that are being covered in media and bring a perspective to them and present my faith into those situations in a way that's intellectually stimulating, that's easy to understand, and also gives people a way to discuss it within a framework of the Judeo-Christian worldview.
Ruth, what are some of the key things about sharing your faith in public?
I probably have two keys that I use, and that's grace and truth. I don't think we need to convince people. I think we basically need to illuminate the truth that we know and allow that to speak to people. I also think it's very important to do this graciously. I think we need to be very respectful. We don't need to be strident. We don't need to push our views down anyone's throat. Basically, we present something that's truthful in a gracious way, and we allow the truth of those statements to actually speak to someone's heart.
There are some great points there, Ruth. We certainly do have a lot of work to do in the secular media. Thank you for joining us.
Visit debsplace.tv to download a one-pager with all of the tips given by Rachel and Ruth on effective ways to share your faith in public. You can also download some of the television advertisements that supported the Jesus All About Life campaign and access exclusive online content available only at debsplace.tv.
Go to the website, download this PDF. It'll give you some great tips for your home groups. Stay with us. After the break, we'll see how Brisbane's 96.5 has become one of Australia's leading Christian radio stations.
A Brisbane radio station sent out the call for Easter eggs for Cyclone Larry's young victims and their families.
In this show, my heart's desire is that women will be encouraged to be the people of God that He's called them to be. Christian radio in Australia has had some humble beginnings. Most stations around our country started in a small tin shed or a caravan in someone's backyard. Over the years, the trials and struggles defined Christian radio. 96.5 FM in Brisbane is one of the most innovative stations in Australia and has set a high benchmark for others to follow. Brisbane's 96.5 Family Radio started with a small group of passionate people who saw the need to communicate Christianity over the airwaves. From humble beginnings, innovative ideas and many struggles, 96.5 has emerged as a real alternative to the commercial stations.
96.5, a radio station in Milton,
sent out the call for Easter eggs for Cyclone Larry's young victims and their families.
Easter eggs are on their way to victims of Cyclone Larry.
96.5 showed just how relevant it is to their city when it became the first Christian radio station in Australia to simulcast the Channel 7 nightly news. Since then, other radio stations have followed suit and have developed innovative ways to communicate the gospel to their audiences.
Hope 103.2 brings a breath of fresh air to Sydney. Our intention is to bring the hope of the gospel to the people of Sydney, to the people listening via the World Wide Web, in a way that they can relate to, in a way that's relevant.
And so that message is purposely given?
Absolutely. The music is chosen to have a positive message. The segments are picked right throughout the day to bring the message of the gospel in a way that's relevant, in a way that they can relate to, and in a way that they can understand.
Today, there is a major Christian radio station in every capital city in Australia and a network of over 250 stations sharing the faith in rural and remote towns and communities.
Community station. It's a community station. We're there for you.
Over 3 million Australians listen to Christian radio in any given month, and of those, 71% call themselves Christian and 23% say they don't have any religious beliefs. Joining us online is the afternoon and drive announcer of Brisbane's 96.5 FM radio, Katie Clift. Katie, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Why do you work in Christian radio?
I love media and I love radio and the ability to be able to talk and just have a chat. But in terms of Christian radio, I think working in the media and being able to get your message out and making a difference to a lot of people through a great medium is just a fantastic thing and an honour to work in.
How important is it for you to share your Christian faith on radio?
I think it's really important because I believe that's, one of the key things about being a Christian, and, the core of your life is your faith and what you believe in. So being able to communicate that with people and share that with people is a privilege to be able to do every day.
You can't get any more public than speaking on radio 5 hours a day and incorporating your Christian faith. What sort of segments would you have on your program that would show that?
We talk to a lot of charities, so we run a lot of interviews about what they're doing for different people that are in need, whether it's overseas or locally. And we share people's stories on air, so if people are going through a hard time or they'd like some assistance, we can get them on the show as well. And generally there's a lot of fun things that we do that can help to reach out and make a difference to people too.
So it's not all serious?
In a lot of ways, it's more fun than it is serious. We do a lot of OBs, outside broadcasts, so we get out into the community and get to actually meet people face to face, and we play like a lot of games and just have fun, whether it is in studio or outside.
And so how do you benefit personally by putting your Christian faith out there in your workplace?
It impacts me a great deal, whether it's something that you're going through someone with emotionally, so you get emotionally impacted by that, or just having the joy of being able to, have a chat and relax with people and see that something that maybe you've said or done as a radio station has made a difference. So personally, it's just a joy. It's just a great happiness knowing that every day you can make a change in someone's life.
That is just fabulous, Katie. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
From Brisbane's 96.5 to Melbourne's Light FM, I caught up with the female presenter of their breakfast program, Lucy Holmes, in Melbourne. Lucy, the breakfast show is one of the most important programs in a radio station. How do you keep the show relevant to your listeners, but also be true to your faith?
I think that's a big question, and I think that's a big question most Christian radio stations have to deal with. Our station specifically is trying to reach Melbourne, and half our listeners have a belief and half don't, and so there is that constant trying to juggle what reaches everybody at once. And we're not ashamed of our faith at all, and we're very loud and proud about it, but we're also not here to try and ram religion down people's throats. So I think we offer a really relevant and a different choice, a positive alternative to people these days.
And so with those big radio stations that you are in competition with, really, do you ever feel threatened by how big they are and the audience that they pull?
Yeah, not at all, because we all have different audiences we're trying to reach, and we're finding, especially in Melbourne, that people are switching off the other stations and switching onto our station, which is so exciting. And every year our survey numbers are just going through the roof, and so many people call us and say, look, I don't believe in God, but I want to be able to be in the car with my kids and not have to hear a dirty joke or explain something to them.
Is that part of what you would say is the goal for this station?
Yeah, definitely. It is to provide a very safe place, but a place with great solid teaching, so people can have a friend in the car, and we even have a care line, so if there are people out there struggling, they can call in and talk to someone. So we're trying to offer not just music and people talking about nothing, but actually to be there for Melbourne in a real way.
Which is a wonderful thing to be able to do. What are the personal challenges for you?
I think the biggest challenge is getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. No, I
bless you in that.
No matter what you do as a Christian, you're going to be looked upon and almost judged by people. So what I try to do is just live my life the same when I'm here, when I'm on air, when I go out to the shops, when I haven't had sleep and I'm in line at the deli. I've got to be the same person so that what I'm saying on air is real to people. So it's hard, but it's what you've got to do.
It's walking the walk, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
In all aspects.
Yeah. And
do you have to go through something to remind yourself, okay, today this is what I need to be doing to encourage people out there who are listening?
There is a part of you where you've just got to live and breathe what you believe without trying to think about it too much. But then I find there's also many times in the morning when I'm driving in and it's pitch black and I'm tired and I just go, I just want to be in bed, when I'm reminded that there are so many people out there that rely on this. So sometimes I remind myself of that in the mornings so that I do take it not seriously, but I understand the gravity behind, and the honour speaking behind a microphone to hundreds of thousands of people every day.
Yes. It's a great privilege that you have, and a great privilege for us to speak with you.
Visit debsplace.tv for an extended interview with Lucy Holmes, and for more on how we can all share our faith in public. And what do you think? Is sharing your faith in public always evangelism? debsplace.tv.
You're watching Deb's Place. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Is the Bible relevant to you? How about a friend? Log on to debsplace.tv to order your free copy of the Women's Bible. debsplace.tv.
Thank you for joining us today. There's more of everything we discussed on our website, as well as exclusive behind-the-scenes footage and articles. See you next time.